Hey everyone, it's Kara here from Boho, and I am super excited to be back with the second video in my fountain pen series. And this video is all about storage and organization. So in my last video, when I showed you my entire fountain pen collection, I actually moved all of my fountain pens from where they're normally stored into this black case. And this is the one that I showed in last week's video. It is a Monteverde 36 slot pen case. So as you'll see, things look a little bit different in here than they did last week. That's because I kind of put all of my pens back in their homes. So these are all the pens currently that are not inked up. Whenever I have a pen that's clean, does not have any ink in it, and I'm not going to use it for a while, it goes back into this case. The second case that I use super often is this one right here. Now this is a Rollup Pen Case from a company called Nock Co. And I'm actually going to move this big guy out of the way here. And this little case is great for traveling, but it's actually also where I keep my fountain pens that are inked up. This case holds 9 pens. I want to say 9, maybe it's 6. It's 6. This case holds 6 pens. It's from Nock Co. and it's called a Brasstown case. They make them in several different colors. I got this one from Goulet, but you can also get them from the Nock Co. website. Again, this is where I store my pens that are already inked up. So right now I have my Rainbow Stipula, my Pelikan M805, my TWSBI Vac Mini, my Lamy All-Star in Pacific Blue, my Rodin Galaxy Vanishing Point, and my Sea Glass Edison Nouveau Premier fountain pen. So these are all pens that are currently inked up and I could use at any time. So I normally keep this either at my desk or at my coffee table so that I can grab them and use them whenever I feel like it. What's great about this case, especially if you're traveling, is it rolls up and you even have a little extra room in here to add in some other pens or maybe some pencils, knickknacks, maybe even some ink samples if you're traveling and you want to have some little vials with you. So it's just a great little all-around case. The other travel case that I use is this one right here. It's also from Nock Co. And I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll be sure to post it in the description below. But it's just a really simple fold-over case. I actually got this when I was at the Atlanta Pen Show last year. This one just holds 3 pens. So if I'm going on a quick weekend trip or something like that where I don't want to take along a case full of pens, I might just throw the 3 that I want to use into this case, just tuck it in my bag and take it along with me. Now there's one other place that I store fountain pens, and that is in my journals. So I have 3 pens that I use on a very regular basis. One that you see all the time is in my bullet journal. This is my TWSBI Diamond 580 in Christmas Green, and I just always have this looped in here, and it is inked up with Noodler's Black. So this is probably the fountain pen that I use the most often. Anytime you see me writing in cursive, like on my weekly spreads here, that is usually this black pen. The other fountain pen that I use really often, or at least lately, is my TWSBI Eco in turquoise, and I keep that one in my Hobonichi, which I'm currently using as a business planner. And this one is inked up with Pilot Iroshizuku Kujaku, which is one of my favorite teal inks. And then the final pen, which I realized after filming the video last week, I totally forgot to show you all this pen because it was tucked in my wallet. So this is a Sidekick from Chic Sparrow, and you can tell it has some wear and tear on it because I keep it in my bag at all times, but I actually use this as my wallet. I'm not going to show you the inside other than, let me flip open. I have just some makeshift little notebooks that I created when I was starting to learn how to make TN inserts. So these are all cut off center and just not cut very well at all, not printed very well at all. So I decided to throw them into my wallet to use for taking notes on the go. You can see here I actually have my PlannerCon Parties name tag stuck in here as well. So the pen here is my TWSBI Diamond 580 AL, that stands for aluminum, and this is actually inked up with Robert Oster Peppermint, which is a really cool green with some shades of red sometimes. And this is a fine nib. So I apologize for not showing off this pen last time in last week's video, but it stays with me in my purse, in my wallet at all times. All right, so that is it for how I store my fountain pens. Next thing I wanted to cover is how I store my inks and ink samples. So as you all may know, earlier this year I gifted myself, I saved up forever and ever for it, but I gifted myself a WorkBox 3.0. And in my WorkBox I have a dedicated side of my WorkBox for fountain pen inks and other writing paraphernalia, so to speak. So I actually have a bunch of bottles of ink in the door of the WorkBox itself, and that's actually where I put most of my pretty bottles, so to speak, of ink. And then right next to those in the shelves on the top shelf, I have two bins that have a bunch of other ink bottles that I've acquired over time. I have some pen tuning and pen cleaning supplies in there as well. And then on the following shelf, I have all of my ink samples. Also, on the hook of the door, I have a really neat little book. It's a ring-bound book, and it is called a Col-O-Ring. This was developed by Anna over at the Well-Appointed Desk, and I've just been doing ink swatches of, so far, all of the inks that I have in bottle form. I do not have all of my ink samples in here, but I'm planning on adding them soon. So I have these actually organized, or I think I did. I might have moved them around a little bit. But I did have these in alphabetical order. I think they got out of order when I was doing a little photo shoot the other day. But as you can see, I just write the name of the ink at the top. I do a little swirly there and then an ink swab with a Q-tip so that I can always kind of just look through and see maybe what ink I might want to use next. So these are all the inks that I have in bottles currently. I am, like I said, planning on adding in my ink samples as well very, very soon. But this is just a great, easy reference to flip through when I'm trying to decide on what color is going to go in my fountain pen next. And the last thing that I use to organize my inks is this Rhodia notebook, and you've probably seen it before if you've been watching my videos for a while, but this is my ink journal. So I decided, and you can see I have not added much to it, and sorry if you can hear the dogs in the background. They're up here with me this afternoon and they're a little rowdy, but my intention for this notebook was to document each and every ink that I own. You can see that I have the index here, and I actually did a whole video on this, so if you're curious, I'll link that above. But I definitely want to come back to this and fill it up with all of the other inks that I have. So far, I have not gotten very far. You can see I think I've only done I've only done 4 inks so far. So I definitely want to get back to this and start filling it up. So that might be a project in these upcoming months, but just another idea on how you can catalog your inks. So far, this Col-O-Ring has been the most useful for me because, like I said, I can just flip through really, really quickly and see what I have on hand and what I might want to put into my next pen. All right, and the very, very last thing that I want to show you all today is my fountain pen spreadsheet. So I'm actually going to take you over to my computer and record the screen and show you the spreadsheet that I developed to keep track of my fountain pens. So let's do it. All right, y'all. So here we are on my computer, and as you can see, I have my spreadsheet pulled up, and this is where I keep track of all of my fountain pens. Now, I actually found this spreadsheet online on a site called NibCreep, and I'll be sure to link that down below, but he had a spreadsheet that he uploaded to Google Docs or Google Sheets, so it's free for anyone to access and download, and that's what I based my spreadsheet on. So as you can see on the left-hand side over here, I have everything sorted by brand, the model of the pen, the color of the pen, The type, I only put type here because I do have some brush pens that I want to catalog. And then I have a checkbox for whether the pen is a demonstrator or not. That means if you can see through the pen or not. What material the pen is made out of, what size nib it has, what it is inked up with, or if it's clean or needs to be cleaned, the origin, so where the company is based, storage location. This is where the pen is. So you can see I have my Monteverde 36 slot case. I've got my Brasstown, my teal desk, my bullet journal, my sidekick, which is my wallet, my home cube, which is my pen case that I keep all my Tombos in. Sometimes I put pens in there, and I actually need to update a lot of these locations now that I'm looking at it. And then I also have a couple of special locations, like a couple of these pens belong to Mark, my husband, and one belongs to my daughter Bella, so I put them as locations. Then I also have the date of purchase, how much I paid for the pen, the value of the pen, and the vendor, or where I got the pen from or where the pen came from. And then I have check boxes for whether it was a gift and if it's a limited edition pen. So I've set this spreadsheet up to where I have a lot of drop-down menus. So for example, let's say that I take my Pilot Metropolitan, this row at the top right here, and I decide that I'm going to ink it up. So I can actually click here and select the drop-down menu, and I can select what ink I put in it. So let's say I ink it up with Monteverde Purple Rain. Then I can also make a note of where it's located. So I have a few different locations set up here. So I have my bullet journal, my home cube, my 36 slot case, my Brasstown office, on loan if I've loaned it out to someone, my purse, my sidekick, any location that I could think of, I put it on here. So let's say that I'm just taking this to the office, and that's that. So now I know that I have this pen inked up and where it is stored currently. So I'm going to change that back because it is currently clean. There we go. And you can see in the drop-down menu here that I actually have all of my bottled inks. I don't actually have all of my ink samples in here, but I might add those in depending on whenever I ink up a pen with one of those ink samples. And then I'm going to change this back to my Monteverde case because I know that's where it's at. But yeah, really super simple, but it's nice for me to be able to keep track. And whenever I want to add a new pen, which I actually ordered a new pen today, I'm going to add a row below this. And you'll see everything that has drop-down menus automatically says select. So I'm going to select here that it is a Lamy 2000, which is a pen that I've been wanting forever. It is a black pen, fountain pen. It is not a demonstrator, and it is, we're going to call it resin. I might come back in here and add a new category because it's actually Macrolon, and it's a fine nib, and it is going to be clean. It's based in Germany. I do not have a storage location yet because I just ordered it. And today is January 18th, 2018. And I spent $167.37, I believe, at Goulet Pens. And the retail value of that pen is $200. They have it marked down from retail. And then I got it at Goulet Pens, not a gift, not a limited edition, so I'm not going to check those. And then what's really cool is I can sort this by any of these categories. So for example, let's say I want to sort, I think it's already sorted by date of purchase. Let's say I want to sort by brand. I can just click here, sort ascending. Got all my Edison, Karas Customs, Kaweco. I have a lot of Lamys, a lot of Pilots, and a lot of Twisbys, and a few Viscontis. So, but I can sort by make, I can sort by model, type, I can sort by anything here. So I can see what nibs I have, brushes, extra fine, fine, flex, medium. I can sort by what kind of ink or if it's clean. I can sort by what is stored where, which is really neat, and then of course date of purchase, etc. So I actually set this all up in Numbers, which is the Mac version of Excel, but you could absolutely set this up in Excel as well, or you could just copy the spreadsheet, the Google Docs spreadsheet from the NibCreep website, which he so kindly offers for free. But it's just a really nice way to keep track of all my pens, and in the future, when I have forgotten how much I paid for a pen or anything like that, or where I got it, I have all that information right here. In addition to storing all my fountain pens and inks and cataloging all of them, I actually also keep my boxes and cases that my fountain pens came in. So I actually have a really deep drawer on the side of my desk where so far I have kept nearly all of the boxes that my fountain pens have come in. I actually posted about this on Instagram just the other day, and I was overwhelmed by how many people are just like me and just can't bear to part with those boxes. So I'm coming up with a few ideas. Someone suggested possibly doing a shadow box of sorts for some of my favorite pen boxes. I think that would be a genius idea. Also, as soon as that drawer gets full, I'm really going to have to figure out what I want to store them in. Obviously, probably some Rubbermaid or plastic containers, but I just wanted to note that those are there and that's a thing. And I don't know if I'm crazy for keeping them all or totally normal for keeping them all, but it's just another small element of my fountain pen organization. All right, y'all, that is going to do it for today. I am looking forward to next week when we're going to be talking about pen maintenance and troubleshooting. So I look forward to that video. And as always, if y'all have any questions, comments about anything that I showed here today, let me know in the comments below and I'll be happy to join in the conversation down there. And I will look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye.